Nature's power is both awe-inspiring and terrifying. Throughout history, some storms have left scars so deep they changed the course of entire regions. Today, we'll explore the 5 worst storms in history. Storms so destructive they've become symbols of tragedy and resilience. Stay with us as we dive into the stories behind these deadly tempests. Hurricane Katrina, the storm that shook the U.S. In 2005, Hurricane Katrina roared through the Gulf Coast, forever changing the city of New Orleans. With winds reaching 175 miles per hour, it wasn't just the storm itself that was catastrophic. It was the aftermath. Levees broke, flooding 80% of the city, leaving tens of thousands stranded in their homes or clinging to life on rooftops. Over 1,800 lives were lost, and the storm caused an astonishing $125 billion in damage. Katrina exposed systemic issues in disaster response and urban infrastructure, and its effects are still felt to this day. Typhoon Haiyan, the fury of the Philippines. In November 2013, Typhoon Haiyan, locally known as Yolanda, made landfall in the Philippines with winds over 190 miles per hour. Entire towns were wiped off the map as storm surges over 25 feet high swallowed coastal areas. Over 6,300 people lost their lives, and millions were left homeless. The destruction wasn't just physical, it was emotional. Survivors described the deafening roar of the winds and the sheer helplessness as their homes and loved ones disappeared. Recovery efforts poured in from around the world, but for many, the scars remain. Cyclone Nargis, a crisis in Myanmar. This Category 4 storm wasn't just deadly, it was devastating. Over 138,000 lives were lost, and entire communities in the Irrawaddy Delta were submerged. What made this storm even worse was the lack of preparation and government response. International aid was delayed, worsening the humanitarian crisis. For the survivors, it wasn't just a storm. It was a tragedy compounded by neglect. Cyclone Nargis remains one of the most devastating disasters in Southeast Asian history. The Great Galveston Hurricane, a deadly surprise. Now let's go back to the year 1900, to the deadliest hurricane in U.S. history. The Great Galveston Hurricane slammed into Texas without warning, bringing a 15-foot storm surge that engulfed the island city. At a time when weather forecasting was in its infancy, over 8,000 people lost their lives. Buildings crumbled, entire neighborhoods vanished, and survivors described the night as something out of a nightmare. The hurricane's legacy pushed the U.S. to develop stronger storm prediction systems. But for Galveston, the scars of that night have never truly faded. The Bhola Cyclone, the deadliest storm ever recorded. We come to the deadliest storm in recorded history. The Bhola Cyclone of 1970. Striking East Pakistan, now Bangladesh, this storm claimed an unimaginable 300,000 to 500,000 lives. It wasn't the wind that caused the destruction. It was the storm surge, a wall of water that swept away entire villages and farmlands. The tragedy was made worse by poor communication and a lack of early warning systems. To this day, the Bhola Cyclone serves as a haunting reminder of the power of nature and the need for better preparedness in vulnerable regions. These storms weren't just acts of nature, they were tests of humanity's resilience. Each of these disasters taught us lessons in preparation, recovery, and compassion. As technology improves, we've become better at predicting and responding to these tempests. But the question remains, are we truly ready for the next great storm? Thank you for watching. If you found this video thought-provoking, hit that like button, subscribe, and let us know in the comments which storm story moved you the most. Until next time, stay safe and take care.